Okay, this is your Unit 3 review for Math 8. Please know, right here, show all your work, show all your work, show all your work, show all your work. If you are confused as to what that means, at the end, look at what I put on my paper. That is the work you need to show. Directions. Determine if the following measurements make a right triangle. At any point in this video, if you need to pause, rewind, do it. Don't fast forward though or skip parts. I know how long this video is, and it's a bit insulting if you fast forward and don't pay attention. Okay, number 1, we have 20 feet, 21 feet, and 29 feet. If this is going to make a right triangle, it needs to follow along with the Pythagorean theorem. So, 20 feet squared plus 21 feet squared should equal 29 feet squared. Grab your calculator. You know that you would have 400 plus 441 equals 841. $400 plus 441, if you put that in your calculator, is 841. They equal each other. If they equal each other, then indeed, yes, it is a right triangle. We're going to see if this is a right triangle, if it's another Pythagorean triple. 6 squared plus 7 squared, does it equal 8 squared? I kind of think this one, you don't need to use your calculator. 36 plus 49 equals 64. $36 plus 49 equals 85. 85 does not equal the not equal sign, 64. So no, this is not a right triangle. The next set of questions is just going to be the straight up, using the Pythagorean theorem to find the unknown length sides. And all along, we've been rounding to the nearest tenth, if necessary. Don't get conflicted by what it means if necessary. It just means if it's not a perfect square, you're gonna have to round. Check out our right triangle. If you happen to see this is our right angle, pew, 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 directly across from it, you have 10. So that means that 10 is our hypotenuse. So we're going to just guess that this side is longer than the other side. As I keep on saying, if you switch your A and B, it does not matter. A squared plus 8 squared equals 10 squared. A squared plus 64 equals 100. The whole goal is to get this A by itself. This squared is hanging on for dear life, so you're going to have to subtract 64 from both sides. Excuse my sniffles. A squared equals, ooh, that's nice, 36. Take the square root of both sides. You don't even have to in your calculator, but if you did, the square root of 36 is exactly 6. If you feel it necessary, put your feet there as well. Okay, I am looking again at my triangle. Ooh, that's bigger. Okay, I'm looking directly across from that right angle. I have nothing, so that is going to be your c squared. 15 squared plus 18 squared equals your c squared. If you flipped these two, it would not matter because of the commutative property. You may recognize by now that 15 squared is 225 plus 324 equals c, I keep on doing that, c squared. C is hanging out here almost by itself, but you still have that plus sign to deal with. So if you add those two, you should get 549 is about c squared. To get rid of the squared, you take the square root. If you don't know how to find the square root, raise your hand. I will show you how to find it on your calculator. I will not show you tomorrow during test day. In your calculator, you get something nasty. You're going to round it to the 10th spot. The 10th spot is right after the decimal. So your answer is 23.4 centimeters. Last one of these questions. Well, right across from the right angle, you happen to get 26 squared. Let's say that the side we don't know is a squared plus 24 squared. Again, A versus B, not a big deal. A squared plus 24 squared is 576. 26 squared is 676. The A is hanging out with all of this business. The easiest thing to do is subtract 576 from both sides. A squared equals, oh, that's nice, 100. Take the square root of both sides. A equals 10 inches. John travels 7 miles due north and then heads 24 miles due east. How many, let's correct that little error there. How many miles is he from where he started? Let's recall, never eat soggy worms. That's right. Okay, so John starts right here, heads due north, because this is where north is. And he heads 7 miles. Then he heads 27 miles due east, because east would be in that direction. 24. Now, I want to know how far apart he is from the start to the finish. So I don't want to backtrack. I just want the straightest route. That is what is going to close in your right triangle. And that is your hypotenuse. So you are looking for C. Really, this question works if there was a direct route between your start and your finish. There is, if you ever heard the saying, as the crow flies, that's what we're talking about. The direct route without any stoplights, any street roads, or anything. You just fly over it. Okay, back to the problem, because you're probably already finished with it. 7 squared plus 24 squared equals C squared. 49 plus 576 equals c squared. C is kind of getting to be by itself, so all you have to do is add, which is 625 equals c squared. To get the c by itself, take the square root of both sides. Imagine that. John is 25 miles directly away from his start. I have another awesome thing that we need to change on here. Travis buys a television set that is 35 inches diagonally. In diameter makes no sense because, well, the TVs of today aren't a circle. They're a rectangle. So the diameter, not the diameter, I did it again. Diagonally. And I'm just going to put diagonal because I'm pretty sure you understand what I mean. Here is your TV. Here is your diagonal of 35. Yep, that's a 3-5. And it says it is 12 inches tall. We don't know this other part right in here. So let's go ahead and set it up. If 35 is your diagonal, what that means is it's 35 squared. So 12 squared plus b squared. Again, I don't care. These two, you mix them up, not a big deal at this point in your mathematical career. 12 squared is 144 plus b squared equals 1,225. Subtract 144 from both sides. B squared equals 1,081. Take the square root of both sides. B is going to be rounded because it's not perfect to 32.9 inches. Okay. If I looked at all of this work, you see what work you need to show. If you don't show the full work, you will not receive full credit. At this point, you should understand what full work means. You know I love my random thoughts. Here's an interesting one for you. Did you know that elephants are the only mammals that can't jump? I guess I've really never thought of an elephant jumping anyway. Here's another one. So skunks, nasty, smell awful, horrible. This is kind of a sad thing. They can be detected by a human a mile away. Gross, gross, gross. Okay, on to the back. Sorry, you know I love my random facts. This is where things get complicated because we're dealing with three-dimensional shapes. Mine happen to be in color because I'm doing it from my iPad. Yours happen to not be. Your drawing actually might be better. If I go from the apex to the middle of the base, from the middle of the base to the circle, those are our two legs of the triangle. We happen to be looking for the outside part of the triangle. As you recall from previous work, your radius equals your A. The height of the cone is your B. And what I highlighted in yellow is otherwise known as your slant height. Your slant height is your C. So this 12 belongs to the height of the cone. So 12 squared is going to go in for B. 5 squared is going to go in for your radius, which is your A. We are looking for slant height. 25 plus 144 equals C squared. It's a nice C squared one. You add 169 equals C squared. Take the square root of both sides. You've done this long enough to know that the square root of 169 is 13 equals the slant height, which is C. If you want to put a label on it, it's meters. This one doesn't have a picture, so you're going to have to pay close attention to the words. A cone has a height of 40 millimeters. Remember, height is your B. And a slant height of 41. Slant height is your C. We are looking for the radius. Remember, your radius is A, is what we're looking for of this cone. So let's just gonna do our little thing here, plug in what we know. And what we don't know is radius is A squared plus the height is 40 squared equals your slant height. A squared plus 1,600 equals 1,681. Okay, we know our hypotenuse. We know our slant height. So we're going to have to start peeling things away from our variable. Subtract 1,600 from both sides. Oh, well, that's nice. 81. Take the square root of both sides. A equals 9 millimeters. Good thing for you, we are now done with cones, but this brings up a little bit of an issue with pyramids. When I am looking at this pyramid from the apex to the middle of the base is your height. From the middle of the base to the line is your A. But we aren't given that measurement. We are given all the way across. So I'm going to have to take 10 divided by 2 to get the A. So A squared plus the height of the pyramid equals the slant height, which we do not know. This would be your slant height. So 25 plus 144 equals C squared. If this sounds familiar, it should. Looky. I don't think I'm going to make that mistake on your test doing two of the same, but you might catch me. I don't know. You know this is 169 equals C squared. Take the square root of both sides. 13 equals C. Put a label of feet. And now, words. Back to it. Slant height of the pyramid is 9. The side of the square base is 7. literally asking you, what is the height? If we don't know the height, we don't know B. But the slant height is 9. If you draw it out, your square base is 7, but that's all the way across. We went from the middle over. So take your 7 divided by 2. Ooh, and I gave you a decimal for the first time on this study guide. Remember, we don't round till the very end. And you have a calculator to deal with decimals, so it's okay. 12.25 plus b squared equals 81. We're searching for b, so we're going to have to do some subtraction action from both sides. B squared equals 81 minus 12.25. You get a decimal of 68.75. That's okay. You're supposed to. Take the square root of both sides, and you will have to round. In your calculator, you get like 8.29, which means your answer is 8.3 inches. We are done with cones. We are done with pyramids. Life is good if we can count squares. On your study guide, you already have those points. Grab a straight edge. Draw a line between your points as best you can. And then go away from the point to the other side. Away from the point to match its little buddy. And I don't know, maybe this is easier to see because it's bigger. Let's use this. All right. Haha. You are counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that has a side length of 6. Then you are counting 1, 2, 3, 4. So, you recognize that this happens to form the right angle. 4 squared plus 6 squared equals c squared. 16 plus 36 equals c squared. Add those together. You get 52 equals c squared. Take the square root of both sides. You get 7.21. We're rounding the tenths position, so it's 7.2 is approximately the distance between these 2 points. This is kind of a fun little tool. Sorry, I'll stop. Last one. You will end up having to plot points. If you need any help, you know you can come in and get some help with plotting before tomorrow's test. We're going to go over 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, up 3. 1, 2, 3. Yes, that matches what I have on my work. 1, down 1. Connect those points. Ooh, that's not too shabby, I suppose. And then form your A and your B. If you are going to count 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. At this point, in this name of the game, this should be familiar. This is a Pythagorean triple. The very first day of doing the Pythagorean theorem, we did 3 squared plus 4 squared equals c squared. 9 plus 16 equals c squared. 25 equals c squared. Square root of both sides, 5 equals c. Woohoo! We're done! We did it. You did it. You're going to try this on your own. I believe your sheet color is yellow. Don't just copy. That's not helpful. Try it on your own. Try it on your own at night, at home. Watch the video again if you need to. You have the potential of knocking this out of the park. My biggest concern for you is pyramids. And honestly, my biggest concern is this base. You're not going to use 10. You're not going to use 7. You have to half it. You can do this. Have a good day.